Alright, doing this redo, so setting it up using a quadratic formula. I don't know why I wrote quadratic equation. I don't think that's a real thing. It's the quadratic formula. You guys are going to look silly when you guys say the quadratic equation next year. I mean, it is a quadratic equation, but we're using the quadratic formula. Anyways, so we're using our a, b's, and c's. A is equal to 2, b is equal to -8, and c is equal to -8. I'm going to be careful with those negatives. So next we're going to throw into the formula. Hopefully you guys can do that without watching me. So x is equal to, go ahead and put it into the formula for me. -8 plus and minus the square root of -8 squared minus 4 times 2 times -8. All over 2 times 2. Okay, that's all our a, b's, and c's in. Now we're going to go ahead and simplify. So simplifying, we took this last week, so -8 becomes +8, plus and minus square root of -8 squared. -8 times -8 is +64. -4 times 2 is -8. -8 times 8 is going to give us +64. All over 2 times 2 is, I can do that, 4. Ooh, what a struggle. Is equal to 8 plus and minus 128 all over 4. Alright, so again, 128 is not a perfect square, so now you're going to go ahead and simplify on this side. Go ahead and try to simplify this without me. Pause the video and simplify the square root of 128, please. Find the factors of 128, do the little prison story, the little prison break, and see what happens. Okay, so at this point you've hopefully tried the prison story, so let's go. 128 is 2 times 64, right? Because 64 plus 64. There's 64, I'm going to break into 8 times 8. And I know I can break 8 into 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, but that is like too much. If you are smart, you can kind of stop it at here, right? Because you're like, oh, I only need to take out 2. These 8 will be the 2 that I take out. So the square root of 2 times 8 times 8, which becomes 8 on the outside, 2 on the inside. There's your pair. This one dies. This one goes outside. Okay, so the square root of 128 is equal to 8 plus and minus 8 radical 2 over 4. Okay, so now this is like the new step, right? How do you simplify this? What numbers do you look at? What numbers do you not look at? Think about it. Answer in your head. Try it without me. Maybe look at the first example. Try it without me. Okay, so hopefully when you've answered, you're going to remember this little heart thing. Definitely looks like a heart. Now that I said that, I can't unsee it. So when you simplify, you're only going to simplify these two numbers, 8, 8, and 4. Remember that radical 2 is not simplified. I'm not even touching that. So 8, 8, and 4, I can divide all three numbers by 4. So dividing everything by 4 will leave me with x is equal to 2 plus and minus 2 radical 2. All over 1, but I don't need to write over 1 because that's redundant. Notice how this radical 2 was left the same, right? Okay, so this is your final answer. This is, again, 2 answers. There's a plus and a minus answer, but splitting it out in this case wouldn't make a difference because you can't simplify any farther. So you just get to this step, and you stop here. So the hardest part is simplifying this, doing this part and simplifying the 3 numbers. And also doing this part, obviously. But that's like a throwback. You guys know how to do that. Alright, go ahead and try both you-dos. Try both you-dos before I show you. Go ahead and try both you-dos, please.